Hey Ghostbusters fans, this is AJ Quick from gbfans.com. We're going to take a first look at the Neutrino wand from MattyCollector.com. Now, here it is in our standard crate box like we've got with all the other props, the PKE meter, the ecto goggles, and the ghost trap. It has, pretty cool warnings all over it like the other ones do. But let's look what's inside because that's really the most important thing here. And inside we have our neutrino thrower, or neutrino wand, or positron collider, or proton gun, or whatever you want to call it. And here it is. It's actually quite nice to look at. When you take your first look at it, it looks like a pretty darn good looking proton gun. When you go up closer, there are some inaccuracies. Some liberties had to be taken to actually mass produce it. Down here on the bottom, we actually have a nice metal V-hook. A lot of the other parts, they're all pretty much plastic except for the hose, and then the banjo and tip are rubber, and then the clippered fitting and hose on this end are also rubber. And I guess that's the only way they could do that without having, these parts are probably easier to break off. A lot of the real parts, like they did get Clippard's approval to put Clippard on there, and actually, Clippard, Cincinnati, Ohio. It says it's a R501, but I think the right one is R507. I'm not real sure on that one right now, but it looks pretty good. The heatsink over here looks like maybe it was a fan design from a while ago, but a lot of the knobs are pretty close, actually. You can compare it to a real Clippard. It's a little undersized, but very, very close. Some of the knobs are pretty close. We even have, our own hat lights, but theirs are a little different. This one actually is clear, and we'll see what it lights up in a second. The one on the end is actually red when it's supposed to be orange, and it's a little oversized. This switch is not really a switch. Doesn't really do anything. So let's take a look. And then on the underside, take a look at, compare it to this gun track. And it's pretty close. It's a little different. This is potentially more accurate because they probably did take measurements off of a real proton gun at the Sony archive. Yeah, let's take a look at actually how it works. So we have our main power switch down here that will light up the slow blow light. This switch will turn on the bar graph and the hat light, which is actually orange instead of white like it should be, but that's actually kind of what it would look like when it was originally incandescent. So that's actually might be kind of accurate. The bar graph unfortunately doesn't really move up and down unless you're doing other things. Like this is to adjust the intensity of the stream. You got low and high. And here we go with the actual activation, which sends the bar graph up, but then again it doesn't animate after that. Flashes this light, turns on the vent light. Now, one of the odd features of this is that it doesn't actually fire unless the tip is extended. If we try to fire, the slow blow light lights up, but to extend the tip is kind of neat. We just do this and it runs on a motor, and now the tip is extended, and you can fire. The vibration motor is pretty powerful, but maybe it's a little too powerful. That was on high mode, and you can turn it down to the low setting and actually get a little bit different color on the tip, and then the vibration is a little less intense. And there's actually an infrared eye right here that will interface with the ecto goggles and maybe the PKE meter. I'm not quite sure on how that's going to work, but yeah, there it is. Now we're going to let's turn it off here. Each switch does something. Let's do a little bit of, see how it looks in the dark. Okay, so our first switch is going to just turn on the slow blow light, and actually that time it retracted the tip. This light will turn on the bar graph and a couple of the other lights. Then our main activation switch will turn on the vent light, and that one starts blinking again. Once again, we have to extend the tip, Turn this around and you can fire. So there's the low intensity with the red and blue, but if you switch to high intensity, you actually get more yellow and blue in there, and it of course vibrates more. For the price, it's really not bad. You certainly can't beat that with anything fan-made, but since it is all plastic, it is made by Mattel, you know, you'd be able to tell if someone handed you one of these versus a really nice aluminum gun or even a resin gun. But yeah, there you have it. Definitely want to pick one of these up if because it's not a bad thing to have on display.